Hello everybody, and welcome to the Big Daddy Biggs blog. This is the place where I give my opinion on books, financial and investment strategies, and occasionally a work-from-home idea. Today's reading from the blog is an overview of the book Predictably Irrational by Dan Ariely. I'm not sure if I said that right, but anyway, let's get started. Why do we buy the things we buy? Why do we choose a specific dish at a restaurant or pick one cell phone over another? We like to think of ourselves as completely rational beings who weigh options carefully and make logical choices. But according to behavioral economist Dan Ariely, in his groundbreaking book Predictably Irrational, that is rarely the case. Human beings are deeply irrational, remarkably easy to manipulate, and prone to making the same hidden psychological errors over and over again. Understanding these hidden quirks of human nature can fundamentally change how you view your own spending habits, how you manage your daily productivity, and how you approach selling products or services. Here are the key takeaways from the book that reveal the hidden psychology behind our everyday choices. Number 1, the truth about relativity. Human beings rarely make decisions in a vacuum. Our brains are wired to look for comparisons because we do not have an internal value meter that tells us exactly how much something is worth. Marketers use this to their advantage every day by using a tactic known as a decoy. In a famous study involving the subscription options for the Economist journal, consumers were presented with 3 choices: an online subscription for $59, a print-only subscription for $125, a combined print and online subscription for $125. When all 3 options were available, the vast majority of people chose the combined subscription for $125. It looked like an absolute steal compared to the print-only version for the exact same price. However, when the print-only option, the decoy, was removed, the psychological anchor disappeared. Given just the $59 online option and the $125 combined option, the majority of the people suddenly flipped and chose the cheaper online option. We see this in retail all the time. When a high-end kitchen store introduced a home-bread making machine, sales were sluggish because people didn't know if it was worth the price. But when the company introduced a deluxe version that was 50% more expensive, the original, cheaper model started flying off the shelves. It suddenly looked like a bargain by comparison. Number 2, default settings control our choices. When faced with complex or difficult decisions, the human brain tends to take the absolute laziest path possible, doing nothing. A powerful real-world example of this is found in European organ donation rates. In Germany, the law required citizens to check a box on a form if they wanted to participate in the organ donor program. Only 12% of the people joined. In neighboring Austria, which shares a highly similar culture and history, the form was flipped. Citizens had to check a box if they did not want to participate. Over 98% of Austrians became donors. In both countries, the vast majority of people simply left the box blank. When a choice feels overwhelming, we naturally freeze and accept the default option given to us, assuming that whoever designed this form knows best. This simple shift in framing completely changes where millions of dollars, choices, and lives flow. Number 3, the power of free. In the world of pricing, the number 0 functions like an emotional magnet. There is a massive psychological gulf between 1 cent and 0 cents. When researchers offered people a choice between a high-quality Lent truffle for 15 cents, and a standard Hershey's Kiss for 1 cent, 73% of the people chose the premium truffle. It was a rational choice based on value. But when they knocked just 1 cent off the price of both items, making the truffle 14 cents and the Hershey's Kiss completely free, suddenly 69% of the people chose the free chocolate, even though the price difference between the two items remained exactly the same. We are so terrified of losing out that when the word free appears, all perceived risk vanishes. This is why a business selling an item for $10 with free shipping will almost always outperform a business selling the same item for $5 with $5 shipping. However, a major warning comes with this. Once you offer a service or product for free, it is incredibly difficult to ever charge for it again later. Number 4, social norms versus market norms. We live in two parallel worlds simultaneously, one governed by social norms and the other by market norms. Social norms cover favors, friendly requests, and community connections where nothing immediate is expected in return. Market norms cover cold, calculated financial transactions where every exchange is measured in dollars and cents. Mixing these two worlds causes immediate social disaster. If you ask a neighbor to help you change a flat tire, they will gladly do it as a favor. If you offer to pay them a single dollar for their hard labor, they will likely feel insulted and refuse. By introducing money, you push the interaction out of the social world and into the market world, where $1 is an insulting wage for physical labor. Number 5. The fallacy of supply and demand. We often assume that prices are driven by the classic economic balance of supply and demand, but human behavior relies heavily on arbitrary coherence. This means that the very first price we encounter for a specific item becomes a permanent anchor point for our future decisions. If you're used to paying $1 for a cup of coffee at a local diner, paying $5 at a premium coffee shop feels deeply wrong. So, how did premium coffee chains succeed in changing that anchor? They didn't just sell coffee. They changed the entire sensory experience. By creating a European-style atmosphere with distinct language, aromas, and design, they broke the old anchor entirely. They created a brand new category in the customer's mind, making old price comparisons completely irrelevant. Number 6, the psychological trap of ownership. Once we take ownership of something, we instantly begin to value it much more than anyone else does. This is driven by loss aversion. We are far more focused on what we might lose than what we might stand to gain. This explains why money-back guarantees and free trials are so incredibly effective for businesses. Once a product enters your home, your brain shifts to a state of ownership. Giving it back no longer feels like deciding not to buy it. It feels like losing a personal possession. Number 7, overcoming procrastination with strict limits. Procrastination is one of the most universal human weaknesses. In an academic experiment, students were split into 3 groups for their term assignments. Group 1 could choose their own deadlines. Group 2 had no deadlines at all, other than turning everything in by the final day of class. And Group 3 was given rigid, non-negotiable deadlines enforced by the professor. The results were clear. Group 3 earned the highest grades, while Group 2 performed the worst. This proves that total freedom often leads to self-sabotage. To beat procrastination, we have to create strict, clear boundaries for ourselves. One highly effective way to do this daily is through the Pomodoro technique, working in focused 25-minute intervals followed by a mandatory 5-minute break. These bite-sized artificial deadlines force the brain to maintain focus and defeat the urge to delay. Final thoughts? We like to think we are the authors of our own choices, but our environment, the way options are presented, and the hidden traps of our own psychology dictate our actions far more than we realize. By learning to recognize these invisible forces, we can start making intentional choices with our time, our money, and our daily habits. Hey, if this has been helpful, or if you like this, please hit the like and subscribe button. You might even want to hit them bell notifications or whatever. But other than that, I hope you have a great day. Be a blessing to God.